Hi, everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
We are Ryan and Bethany, Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Marvel Dice Throne X-Men, and this is designed by Gavin Brown, Nate Chatelier, and Manny Tremblay, and it's published by The Op and Ruxley.
Sorry, showing off all these characters. Okay, so if you are unfamiliar with Dice Throne, there's Dice Throne Original, then there was other kind of offshoots like Marvel Dice Throne. And this is very specifically Marvel Dice Throne X-Men. So we're talking about the X-Men characters here. At its core, what Dice Throne is, as I've heard it described, is Battle Yahtzee very accurately. Basically, you're going to get a chance to have all these different characters. All the different characters are different. Kind of, they match themselves thematically, right? You have 5 dice, just like in Yahtzee. You roll them up to 3 times, just like in Yahtzee. And you're trying to get certain results that are worth a certain amount of values or attacks, just like in Yahtzee. And of course, the strongest one...
They attack in Yahtzee?
Well,
Yahtzee attack.
No, only in Attack Yahtzee, which is, of course, Dice Throne. And the highest thing you can get is getting 5 6s rolled, which of course is called the Yahtzee. In this game, it's called the Ultimate Attack, the Ultimate Ability. So in all forms of Dice Throne, it all works the same. Every character has 50 health, and you are trying to bring your opponent's health down to 0. There's kind of a 1 versus 1 format. There's a 2 versus 2 format. There's even ways that you can play all the way up to 6 players, although I do not recommend that unless everyone is very familiar with the system and is willing to get crazy with it. So it does accommodate all player counts, but 1-on-1 or 2 versus 2 is kind of like, I would say, the main ways this gets played, from my experience. This is the X-Men Marvel Dice Throne. This is cross-compatible with all the normal Marvel Dice Throne, which of course is also all cross-compatible with all Dice Thrones. You can face any character against any character in all of the Dice Throne universe, but I guess today we're specifically talking about the X-Men.
So all of these characters also have cards that go with their character. And I really like how there are cards, you have a deck of cards, there are cards that everybody has that do the same thing, but they all have individual cards that are very specific to them. They're specific to their character. On the board, you have these board upgrades that you can pay for with the cards that are in your deck that are very specific to your deck. There's cards that interact with your special ability or with your character. So I really like that they each have their own individual deck, and while there are cards that everybody has, there's a lot of cards that are very specific to just you and the character you're playing. It's only for this person, and so I just really liked that the card interaction that was happening in this Dice Yahtzee as well.
I think that Dice Yahtzee, all Yahtzees are Dice Yahtzees.
Dice Yahtzee?
Yeah, you said Dice Yahtzee.
Oh, Yahtzee. What do you call it?
Battle Yahtzee.
Battle Yahtzee. I guess all dice are dice. You're all rolling, looking for things.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whoops.
All right, so each character, like Bethany mentioned, has its own deck, but in addition to that, they have their own tokens, different special abilities, different attacks and things that are already on the board. And what I liked about all of that is they were all thematic to the characters. Comic book characters have a very deep and rich history, and I think fans are going to be looking for certain things, certain phrasing, certain words, certain attacks, things like that, and you're going to find them all. I think they did a really great job of pulling from the lore of these different characters and making sure that they're all the things, those thematic little bits that you're looking for are there. So, for instance, Iceman has a gliding ice thing. Storm is kind of sending out tornadoes and lightning bolts and stuff like that and charging things up. Wolverine has a healing mechanism, but is also very berserky and can kind of harm himself while he's attacking.
Rogue takes your health for herself.
Yeah, this is all those kind of very thematic touches that are really, really important, especially in these comic book characters that we all know and love, to see them play out in Dice Throne.
And I have to say, because Ryan and I went through and we played this a gazillion times, all the people, all the time, it's really balanced. We were within a turn away. So if I won, Ryan would have won the next turn. If Ryan won, I would have won the next turn. It was extremely balanced regardless who was up against who or who was happening. And which is really good, especially with a dice game where you think that there's just a lot of probability, but there's a lot of things you can do to mitigate things. There's a lot of opportunities you have to get something good to happen, and then with the cards you can manipulate the dice. So even though it's just a dice game, which is luck, right? You can't control that. Even with that, I felt like all the characters were extremely well balanced. The fact that we were always within a turn away of the other person winning, I view that as an excellent sign for all the different characters.
I think it's also a real challenge because each character has what they call a complexity scale, and so there's kind of from 1 to 6, how complex of a character are they to play? That it doesn't make them better or worse or whatever. It just means how intricate, how involved are the mechanisms that are being used to run them. So, for instance, Jean Grey is extremely complex. She's half the time she's Jean Grey, half the time she's the Dark Phoenix, and you know, her abilities reflect all of that. And she has some really cool abilities, but they're not always available to her at any given time. But then you have someone like Wolverine who's just like, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to heal. And it's very simple, you know, and the fact that they kind of all balance out within that complexity is very cool. I like how you can give someone who's very new to the Dice Throne system a kind of a lower complexity character so they can learn what's going on, and someone who's more familiar, give them one of the higher complexity characters, and they can kind of compete and be at the same level as far as odds of winning. I think that that's important for your own personal preferences, as well as being able to be competitive no matter what the situation is. I think that that's some games are just kind of like whoever knows the game the best wins.
Yeah.
And
a lot of games are like that.
And you should have that to some extent.
Yeah.
And you can, if you mess up Jean Grey, you can lose really badly, but if you do her really, really well, you can do really well. And that's true for all these characters, but I think it's cool to have strong balance even within deeper and simpler complexity.
Well, that's nice, but tell us what you didn't like.
So here's the thing. A lot of the other Dice Thrones, this is very nitpicky, by the way. It has nothing to do with the game itself. All the other Dice Thrones, or a lot of them anyways, have these really cool character boxes. These character boxes contain everything you need to play. And so, like for instance, one of my buddies has a copy that has basically, 20 different characters in it. And it has little boxes that are all self-contained. You just take out the little box, and then he takes out his box, and we duel, and it's great. These do not have that. There's 4 characters in each box, and you need to, if you want to take it with one character, you take the whole box with you, because it has everything you need in that box, but there's nothing that you can take out with you. So if you have the storage system that requires those boxes, this does not fit that. Maybe eventually those boxes will become available separately or something like that.
Well,
Who
the
knows?
boards also don't fold.
That's actually a really good point too. So no, probably not. The boards don't fold. They cannot be put into one of those smaller containers like the other Dice Thrones can be. So if you're looking to store this is how you're going to be storing it, unless you are very good with a laser cutter or something else.
Nothing to do with the gameplay, but still needed to be mentioned. Overall, this is a really smooth, super clean system. You can learn this game. I was able to learn this game super quick, able to play almost right away, and one of my favorite things about this was the player aid. So every character had a sheet that went with it that's separate from your player board, and the sheet kind of acted like a player aid, but it really held all your tokens. But on the back, there were rules clarifications. So the reason why that is awesome is every time that Ryan and I had a question about how something would work out, the answer was on the back. We did not have to get out the rule book. All the information that we needed to play this game, to play it well, to play it quickly, to play it smoothly, was all there for me. We did not have to go back into the rule book, and I loved that. I loved how clean and smooth this system was, and how Ryan and I typically play games. I found out that we just play games a little bit faster than most people, so we were able to get a ton of plays of this game in an evening, like a ton. So if you are also a fast gamer, you can get so many games in. You can play all the characters, all of them.
I have always liked Dice Throne. I've always liked this system, but I've always been playing kind of other people's characters or whatever. They bring their copies along, and then I play them a couple times, and it's great, and I have a good time with it. I've never had a chance to kind of sink my teeth into and fully explore a full set. So I really enjoyed getting to explore all of the X-Men characters. I love X-Men. It's one of my favorite IPs, especially within Marvel, and I don't see it a lot done well. So I was very happy to see this and see it done well, so thematically, and kind of giving homage to these characters that I love. But also being able to kind of play them all and play them against each other was really, really fun, really, really satisfying. I think they did a great job thematically. I am a fan. If you are a fan of Dice Throne or you are a fan of the X-Men characters, I think this is going to be something you want to get it and kind of sink your teeth into as well.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see all our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
And you're going to want to stay tuned because if you want to hear us rank every single one of these characters...
And Deadpool.
All of the X-Men characters all together in a power ranking, be sure to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.